Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here today. If you're new to the channel, me and my husband and 2 kids live on about 18 acres in the foothills of North Carolina. We grow about 80 to 90% of our own food. And today we're just going to bring you around and show you some garden plans and what we've planned to do for the upcoming year. We're making quite a few changes from what we normally do, trying to make life a little easier on us. So we're just going to kind of show you around here. I'm gonna let Andy do a little talking because he's the brains behind all of this. I just do the picking, he does the rest of it. But if you saw a previous video about us planting, how much did we plant?
It was 10 pounds.
We planted 10 pounds of garlic, I think is how much it was, best I can remember. So we're out here in the garlic and onion bed. You can see the garlic.
Yeah, the garlic's really done good. It looks real good. I'm really happy with it. That's probably the prettiest garlic we've ever had. We done this different. If y'all can remember back in that video, I tilled this one time and got everything worked up real good, and we mounded those mounds up. And we might never till this again. We may try to do like the no-tills type stuff here. Then here's our onions that we planted. Pretty sure we had a video on that too.
And we were worried when we had that cold spell about them overwintering. We thought that they got killed, but they came back out. So
they did.
We're glad about that because it got down around Christmas. It was what, 5 degrees or something like that. It was very cold.
That was the only cold spell we've had this winter though. The rest of the time it's been unseasonably warm. But the ones that we had that didn't make it was this part we had right over here. We've got one onion right there and one onion right there that lived, and they don't really look too special, which these onions really should have been bigger, but we planted them right before that cold spell hit, and it was rough on them. But these I just replanted the other day with some onion sets. I don't even know what kind of onion sets they were, but I filled up this whole little bed here, and I already see some of them starting to pop up. Right there's one, and there's some more out there towards the end. But what we've decided this year, and y'all probably heard us talk in the past about it and seen other YouTube videos and everything on it, is zoning and working on our zones, because last year we were scattered everywhere, and that takes a lot of time. Even though you don't think much about it, it only takes 5 minutes to run one place to the other. When you do that every single day, and sometimes multiple times a day, it's very time consuming, ain't it, Megan? So this year we're going to give up some yard space and turn part of this into garden.
Where we live, y'all, it ain't a whole lot of flat spots. So this is one flat spot on our area here that we've decided, I think we're going to convert it.
Been kind of on the fence about this for a while, because as some of y'all know, I do landscaping and type stuff like that for a living, and it's nice. This has always been a fairly pretty piece of grass, and so in a way it's kind of hard to tear that up and turn it into something, but I can't eat grass, and I can eat plants. I mean, vegetables and stuff. So what our plan is, we've actually limbed up this tree, and we've limbed up that tree to let more sunlight in here. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we've done here. We're going to make a section of it right through here, and then we're going to make another section right over here. So we'll add 2 more sections to this, and they'll be roughly right 9-10 foot wide, and that's enough. That's plenty of room for us to have like 2 mounded up fairly wide beds, to where we can get more than just one single row in that wide bed. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but kind of like just exactly like what we've done with the garlic, where we've got them spaced like 3 across. We'll be able to do that here. So like if we plant potatoes, we'll have like probably 2 potatoes, 2, 2, 2 all the way down the row. But anyways, that's right here in our yard where we are at every single day. So anything, that was our main goal this year. Anything that has to be picked, checked on, whatever, on a regular basis is going to be right here. And we're going to take you around and show you everything that we're changing right here in our daily loop, because we make this same loop every day, walking around feeding animals, just whatever. Everything is right here. So that's the first step, is this.
So we're gonna walk up to my front-ish yard, and this was a bed with just like some decorative bushes in it, things like that. So we've done some changes here as far as the landscape goes.
So what we've done here, we already had one fig tree right here, and we've added another fig tree right here in our front yard, right on the side of the road. We've added an elderberry, and we've got multiple little strawberry plants in here. Some of them aren't quite doing as good as others. We bought those same packs from Tractor Supply like we bought last year, and right here is one of the newer ones that's sprouting up. But we've added 20 in, and then these bigger ones here are some that we dug up that were already around the house, and we just transplanted them up here. But anyways, this whole bed will be kind of like a ground cover of strawberries. And then she's got a rosemary here. Go up here and show them your herb garden. It's right in the walking distance of the house.
It's nice to come out here when I'm cooking. I just run out here and get my seasonings and herbs and things. There's a
Mountain Dew can laying out here
on the side of the road. But a lot of my herbs are not here anymore, but I'll replant some. But this is yarrow. Ooh. That's just a flower that comes back every year that I've left alone. And then I've got some sage. And I don't know what this is. Is that a wild onion?
That's a wild onion.
I didn't think we planted no onions up here, but I had parsley. I was told that parsley was winter, or like overwintered well, and I don't know if it'll come back, but when we had that real cold spell, it got killed. Yeah. At least it looked like it got killed, and I ain't seen no sign that it's coming back. But I had parsley and cilantro out here too.
Y'all, the crazy thing with this yarrow, is that what you said that for? I don't know my herbs. I'm not an herb man. But this thing started out as this little bitty clump right here last year. So eventually this whole bed is probably going to be yarrow. Because look at how it's spread. It's coming up everywhere. But it's even took over this daffodil that's coming up in here. It's kind of crazy. That stuff really takes over. But then come on, Tiger. Y'all probably remember up in here in the front where that brandywine come up on its own, that brandywine tomato.
And I had the prettiest basil you ever seen up here too.
Yeah, we had some really tall basil there, and we'll probably do all that again. Anything like that, those type of herbs that she cooks with is going to be right outside the door where she can run out here real quick and grab them and go back in. We've got lemon balm everywhere.
Just so you know, yarrow and lemon balm both, like, you plant it one time, you'll never have a need to plant it again. It literally, it comes up everywhere. It comes up in the yard. It comes up in the flower beds. Like, look. There's some more. So, yeah, the lemon balm, I guess I would recommend planting it probably in a pot.
Yeah. Well, it'll still spread with seed. We've got lemon balm coming up over here in the edge of the woods, and Lord knows how that got there. So, most of our feed is stored right here in this building. So it's centralized right in the middle of everything as far as our gardens are going to go. For us to feed, we have to step into this building, and we step out from that building. As we're feeding, chickens are always over here in this pasture. The cows are over here. Now our pig feed does stay down here where the pigs are, so we have to walk down to the pig building every day for that too. So on our trip around our place here, we will be walking right past where we're putting in where our raised beds already were, and we're adding more. And we plan to do a whole lot more of this raised bed stuff.
Our compost pile's right here.
Yep.
Close enough to the raised beds.
Well, the good thing about it is we don't have to have it perfect because we do have a tractor. So that stuff we can move fairly easy if we needed to. However, if we didn't have a tractor, I would probably have that compost pile situated right over here somewhere to where it would easily be dispersed from this garden to the raised beds out to the pig lot where that hillside garden is. You know, everything would just be right here. But so starting out here are the raised beds that we had last year that y'all probably already saw.
And we have apparently some onions that I didn't pick. See there? So it'll be all right. I'll get some onions off of them.
But right beside of this is that chicken coop where we've done a lot of the deep bedding stuff. Now there's no chickens in there now, but it's where we raised up all of our small egg laying chickens that we have out on the pasture now. And under all that deep bedding will be some beautiful compost that we'll use right here. So we're adding this raised bed and this raised bed this year, and I'm actually going to come off of this raised bed with one more raised bed, another 8 foot down. And I'm probably going to add a run to that raised bed. And with this, between this raised bed and this one, I'll be able to put another cattle panel to have another trellis for the green beans or whatever we choose to run on that.
And y'all, in this little area, I mean, even in the raised beds we already have, we have a lot of food growing just in this little area that didn't take up hardly any room.
Well, it was amazing. Just off of that, I think it was that trellis there, the top one, we got like, how many green beans?
I had enough to can some, and I come out here about twice a week and picked enough for us to eat on.
Yeah, that impressed me. I'm used to planting long rows of green beans, and that's what you usually get enough off of. Just having that little trellis seemed, I thought we'd get enough for a mess here and there off of it, and it was unreal what come off of that little trellis. But anyway, as we walk this way, well, between here, so point up that way, Megan. You can probably see them. We might have should have walked by them, but we've planted 2 cherry trees
right there.
Those are also in our walking path, so we can constantly keep an eye on the cherry trees. We're constantly walking through our orchard down here where we start off with a pear tree. We have 2 peach trees that are in full bloom that are probably going to get killed coming up here next weekend. Tiger, what you doing? What you doing? And then in amongst all the down there's what, 20 apple trees?
Yeah, something like that.
20 apple trees, and then another pear tree over here in the corner. And
hang on, we're gonna stop and look at the peach blooms. I think they're so pretty.
They are pretty. I just hate to see it bloomed like that right now.
We've only got peaches off of these trees, I think, twice.
Yep,
because of the frost.
Frost always gets them. Which it was amazing last year. Last year they got bit by frost twice. And somehow or another it never killed the buds, and we still had some really nice peaches last year. I don't know.
I had enough that I froze a bunch of them.
Yep. So, in each one of these little mulch rings around our fruit trees here, they've been mulched now for, I don't know, 3 years. So when you dig down in that mulch ring, you find some pretty nice looking full. And we keep them, re-mulch them every year. Once you get down in here, if I can find some, you start getting into some pretty nice looking stuff down in there. And so we're actually planning on planting, maybe not a lot, just going to experiment with it, but we're planning on planting a few plants in amongst our orchard here, maybe like some squash or something like that, you know, doesn't take up a whole lot of room, because I really don't want it running out into the grass where I keep it mowed. But you know, we're just going to try it to see how that works, because this is another area that we walk through every day. We can take a small detour right down through this little valley here, right over to the pig lot, because the pigs have to be fed twice a day, and so we're constantly traveling through here.
And we're going to get pigs next weekend.
Yeah, the coldest weekend we've had in almost since December. It's now March, 1st of March.
And it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna
And
be
it's
cold.
going to be the coldest weekend we've had, and it's the weekend that our pigs are going to be ready to go pick up.
And now we added some daffodils around all of our apple trees too. Just why did we do that? I don't know how to explain it.
Well, it's part of what they call a tree guild. Well, the guild that you plant around a tree. I'm no expert on this stuff. I've looked into the permaculture type stuff where you have multiple species and everything works together with each other. I know daffodils help keep deer away. At least that's what they say. And you know, it's just nice to have other species growing around your plants. Had I known anything about that when I planted these apple trees, I would have not planted this many apple trees together. However, they're already here, and I'm not going to dig them up and move them. From my understanding, what should have been done if we were going to try to make like a permaculture type orchard, we would have had like a fruit tree, then a nitrogen fixing tree, and then something else, and then another fruit tree. And they would all coincide with each other. And like I said, I'm no expert on that stuff. I've watched a lot of videos on it, and everything makes sense. It's just something that when we actually planted this one, it wasn't something we was really too aware of.
We didn't really know anything about it.
No, we planted these apple trees. I guess they've been here for 3 years now.
Yeah, I think so.
Some of them's done really well, and some of them ain't. I do know that this probably wasn't the best location for apple trees, because we've got a water pipe that comes right under this flat area up here, and water runs straight down through here like this. And I've noticed that every apple tree that's in that line of water hasn't really done that great. This one, that one, and that one are all short, where the rest of them are actually growing pretty good. And so I'm wondering if this staying pretty wet's affecting them somehow or another. And if it is, we'll eventually probably pull them up. But you know, when we first started doing all this, by no means was we experts at it. We were just sticking stuff where we could stick it.
Again, we don't have many flat spots, and this happened to be a flat enough spot to plant some trees.
Well, not only do we not have many flat spots, we don't have many open spots. And so like a lot of our open spot is pasture, and if we were going to plant fruit trees in our pasture, we'd have to have them fenced around and everything else. And so we don't have many flat spots that are outside of our pasture that are open. We got a lot of this, wooded spots. But anyways, here's the hillside garden. Y'all probably seen us planting pumpkins last year. We've mulched it twice, 2 years in a row now. We mulched this about, what, a month ago? Mm-hmm. And we're ready to plant. But what we've added this year that wasn't here last year was a bunch of blueberries. We've got, I want to say about 10 blueberry plants total out here. I know they're not going to show up that great on camera right now because they don't have no leaves on them. But in amongst all this, we've put in daffodils. Right there's one popping up. And there should be a whole lot more popping up in here, but I hadn't really seen them, so we were a little late on planting those too, so that we may have planted them too late. I don't know. But I've been keeping my eye out for them.
And anybody wonders what all this is, this is a weed that we can't get rid of out here.
Yeah, this is a weed that I've decided to just kind of, it doesn't tend to spread. It just stays in this clump. And so really it kind of works pretty good, because once those leaves get on up taller, I can go in there and whack it off, throw it in there and feed it to the pigs. They love it. And it grows back within a week. It's almost like this comfrey we've got planted around here. Like it grows, whatever it is, it grows super fast. So
apparently it's not poisonous to pigs, because we fed it to pigs for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, they don't seem to mind it. So we've just let it alone and learned to live with it. Right down here at the bottom of the hill, we've got a little horseradish plant put in. And we've got some random comfrey plants planted out through here. I've seen some of that starting to sprout. Right here's one starting to come in. There's another one out here, but I don't see it right now. Thought it was. Well, we've got some more comfrey up here beside the pig lot, because they really, really like that comfrey. Right there's that.
Well, they say, what is it? They won't eat it unless they need it, right?
Well, I've heard it's like a mineral accumulator. So any type of minerals in the soil.
Tiger went and found something.
What in the world is she finding? Cardboard. Somehow or another, I don't understand a lot of this stuff. But anyways, that plant sucks up certain minerals in the soil, and so when you feed it to your pigs, it's almost takes the place of their minerals that you would normally feed your pigs, your livestock or whatever, and you give them that instead, and they love it. I mean, they flat tear it up.
The pigs will eat it. The goat will chew on it a little bit. The cows won't really eat it.
Our cows never really seem to like it. The chickens will peck at it too. But anyways, this is one whole layer of mulch up here around the blackberry bushes. We got the muscadines. We've got some more strawberries planted in amongst all that. And we've got some more blueberries up there and raspberries. Is that right? And so all of this whole area is mulched. All of our empty spots in between all of these shrubs and vines we've got planted, we're planning to plant some type of annuals when it comes time to plant them, such as squash, cucumbers.
I don't know if we'll plant pumpkins out here again.
Probably won't plant pumpkins out here. I don't know. They didn't like it. I don't think it was quite enough sun for them. But just whatever we decide to plant, we're just going to mingle it in, because this thick mulch layer should really help keep weeds down. The dirt underneath of it is already, like, I mean, stuff's looking pretty good under there. When we planted those blueberries, y'all, when we first done this last year, we didn't see an earthworm worm. What do you found now?
I think she's raided something, trash or something.
We didn't see a single earthworm when we first done this last year. And when I planted those blueberries just a month ago, that was after we had mulched this. We mulched it first. Well, it's been mulched twice now. It was mulched last year and then this year. And when I planted the blueberries this year, y'all, I was digging in there, and I mean, there's earthworms everywhere. The ground is already softer now than what it was then, and it's amazing the difference it's made just having this heavy mulch layer over top of everything, to where I'm guessing the earthworms are coming up and they're starting to eat it where it's decomposing, and then, you know, they're just doing their thing, and it seems to be working great out here. And the crazy thing is, this used to be that rocky hillside just like that.
Yep, just like that.
And underneath this now, don't get me wrong, when you go to digging underneath this, there's still rocks. You know, they're there. We just got them covered up. And it's amazing what this has done. Right there's where did I just see it? I seen another daffodil popping up. Where did I see it? Right there. Another daffodil popping up. So hopefully, maybe we didn't get them in the ground too late. But anyways, the biggest majority of our stuff that we pick every day, garden-wise, is going to be here, there, the raised beds, or the garden up there beside the house. Tiger's having a time with this water bottle.
I think she likes stuff that makes noises. And I'm going to show y'all while we're right here, hoping to get my cows bred. I got me a little Black Angus bull here. It's my daddy's. He brought it up here, gonna let us use it for a month or two. And so I didn't want one. I didn't want a real big Black Angus bull because my cows are little. They're small frame. And he's young, so he's not huge or anything. And Black Angus, most of them are known to have low birth weights. A lot of Black Angus cattle are known for that. And he has that in his bloodlines. Because I don't want my little small frame cows having big old calves, you know. So hope to get them bred. That'll put us having November or December babies, usually in this area. For the most part, it's not too terribly cold by then, besides this year. Of course, this year's been a little different.
So y'all right up here at the pig lot now. And you've seen last year we fenced in the wooded area out here. Well, this is still our centralized, like, feeding spot for the pigs. This spring, we're hoping to build a fence up on up the hill to where we can turn the pigs in there and give this on the hillside here a break. but we're still going to have like a main pathway for the pigs to walk out to that new area. But anyways, that being said, they will always have access to this right here. We've planted in comfrey right here to be able to just cut it off, throw it into the pigs when we want to. We've actually got quite a bit planted in that area right there. And it's not really good for anything else, but I thought it'd work good to grow some comfrey. If it don't, we ain't lost anything. And as you can see, from this little point right here, you can see every bit of what we're going to be trying to garden. Now, as many of you may know, I love to grow corn, so we're still going to be planting some corn across the creek down here. But that's not something that we're going to have to go pick every single day. And we're still going to grow corn up at that field we have up the road here. So, you know, it's not like everything's going to be consolidated here at the house because we just don't have the room for it. But everything that has to be tended to every single day is going to be here. And we, honestly, both of us are pretty dang excited to see just how much of a change that makes. Because, honestly, I'd love to know how much diesel fuel we run out of that RTV just going back and forth to gardens last year. It was a constant, never-ending thing. And it was a daily thing. You know, we done it every single day.
And y'all can see our chickens over there. We're still doing the pasture egg chickens, and so we move them once a week. And when you get down on the grass, you can kind of see greener areas in the grass, and that's where that house sits. And these you can really see it up here, some of the greener, thicker spots. So they kind of, that's our mobile fertilizer house.
Yeah, mobile fertilizer shed. Man, these dang blackberries are already even putting out. It's been an interesting time. It's been the warmest February I ever remember. We had one day a couple weeks ago that was 80 some degrees. And now here we are out here about to freeze. And from the sound of it, the whole month of March is going to be that way.
So we're trying, I mean, we want this to encourage you. We want this to show you that even on this small little area you can see from one end to the other, we're planning on growing pretty much all of it except for like potatoes and corn here, you know, and that's field corn, right? Ain't that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's field corn. That's
that ain't even eating corn. It's for the animals.
We'll have our sweet corn up here probably in the garden right beside the house.
But, you know, you can do this. You just, you know, even though we've been gardening and Andy's been gardening his whole life and I've been doing it for 10 years now, we learn something new every year, and we're always changing what we're doing, trying to make it easier on us or better for the plants, because you're more apt to do it if you don't get burnt out. So,
well, y'all, that's something I'd like to mention there real quick. Growing plants is something that I love to do, and last year I never led on to it to a whole lot of people, but I about got sick of it. And it was because that we honestly done way too much, considering the fact that I work the way I do and Meagan did too, and we had too much on our plate at the time. But another thing, we didn't do it smart. Everything was so scattered, it was just a constant battle, like running here and running there, trying to keep deer out, trying to keep bugs off, trying to keep the weeds out. It was just something all the time.
And if y'all don't have a deer problem in your area, be blessed. Cause,
yes.
That's the hardest thing about growing a garden here. It's not the red clay soil, it's the deer.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this red clay soil will grow anything you want to. You just got to know what you're doing. But in every single garden area we've got now, we don't have any red clay soil because we've amended it so much that the red clay's gone.
Probably should have just brought the chickens to you while we were down here.
I've already brought them food.
Oh, did you?
I took it to them this morning.
Oh, well, I'll stop and get the eggs then. Hello, babies. If anybody didn't know, cows love to be talked to like that. At least my cows.
But another thing that I was going to say about what we were just talking about is time for us is very valuable. We're always on like a strict schedule. It seems like no matter what we do in life, we're rushing. We're rushing everywhere, all the time. And I feel like doing what we're doing right here is going to help out so much, because when I come home in the evenings, if there's something that needs to be done in the garden, all I got to do is walk to it. We don't have to crank a tractor and drive to it, or
And
crank
load up the youngins.
and load the kids up.
Yeah.
You know, you don't think about it, but even loading kids up takes a minute, because none of them have no shoes on. They don't have no clothes on. They don't, you know, there's something you got to do, and it just takes time.
They want to load up 50 toys to take with them.
You got to load up your tools it takes to do whatever you got to do. You got to get your buckets to gather whatever you're going to pick. And it's just a hassle. And I feel like that we ain't been using, while we were already using our space up around the house pretty good, we haven't been using it to its max. And this year, doing a lot of the methods like that out there where we're not tilling it or not doing anything, it's just mulched. That's labor intensive one time a year when we put the mulch on it. After that point, all it is planting and randomly pulling weeds up here and there, you know, on occasion. I can walk through as I go out to feed the pigs, walk down in there, maybe spend 5 minutes a day pulling a weed here and there, and it's nothing to it. Whereas if I've got these big field gardens planted, I'm jumping on the tractor, making sure I got gas in the tractor. That's another thing. I'll have to go get gas, because most likely it's going to be out. And then you got to tow the hoe with you so you can hoe it after you plow through it. And it's just a lot of work, a lot of unnecessary work, because it's like we're working against nature all the time.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. So, this is something new that you can see we ain't typically done. So, most cases, our cows would all be penned up in that little pen right now. But right now they're not, because we've got the bull up here and we're wanting to breed these two. Well, we had to separate the 3 younger heifers we have, because we don't want those getting bred. So we've had to put them in that far pasture down here, and we're leaving the bull and the other 2 cows out in this pasture. And I don't really want the bull in there with those 2 cows inside that little sacrifice paddock, because, you know, he's going to be chasing them around and whatever, and chances are he's going to bust them through the fence probably, because it's not a big enough area for him to chase them around like a bull does. And so, that being said, I had thought about it probably, 2 years ago we had this cleared off?
Mm-hmm.
This was woods up to this point right here, which all of this at one time was woods, but this was the most recently woods. And it was just like that patch right there. And it was up to about where we're standing, going kind of like at a diagonal across here. And as you can see, the grass ain't that great. There's not a lot of good soil here. It's just kind of barren. So I decided to start feeding down here. And we put a roll of hay out down here. This one was from last week. And so when we move the chickens tomorrow morning, we're going to put the chickens over top of this pile of hay and see if they can't scratch it out enough to where it's probably still going to smother out a lot of the grass that's here, but they will scratch it out and spread it out to where it's spread more even over this area here. Then that hay is going to break down. What's left of it's going to break down.
And look, their dessert is in here. Something that chickens love so much is full of it. Cow poop.
It's everywhere in here.
It is everywhere where these cows have stood around and eat this hay. So that's going to get our chickens food, and
they'll scratch through that cow poop and eat the fly larvae and whatever else that may be in there. Any grain that's still in the, like that right there, all that wheat grain that's in there that the cows didn't digest, they'll eat all of that. Sounds kind of nasty, but
chickens like y'all they like dive on it. That's the first thing they go after. If we put them over some cow patties.
So with that being said, this will hopefully get spread out a little bit better, and then all of this hay will eventually turn into organic material, well, you know, rotted out organic material that will help build this soil up. While I'm losing grass area right now, in the long run, it's going to help this spot more than hurt it. Because we can always go back and just sling grass seed out on top of this if we need to. But I think this, I'm interested to see how this works, because we haven't done this. We typically feed, like I said, up there.
Well, we did it with that hay we have to keep them chickens warm, and they did really good spreading it out.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Of course, it wasn't that big of a pile. It wasn't as big a pile of hay as this. But yeah, we did have some meat chickens up here towards the end, and it got really cold. and we crammed a bunch of hay up in their chicken tractor and had them like an insulated floor in there. And a few weeks after they were gone, we moved these chickens over top of that, and they scattered it out really good. So we're going to see what they do with this. Chickens can scatter, that's for sure. They got more time than I do. If you seen Megan's little short video yesterday, we figured out Candy got out right over here.
Yeah, we didn't think the fence was down, and I was about to tie a cinder block to her, but...
Yeah, the fence, this wire right here is spliced together right up there towards the top of the hill. And the little crimps that hold the wire together had pulled apart. I don't know if I don't know.
There's
what
no
happened.
power on this part.
Yeah, this little section don't have no power on it, but I guess she probably leaned against it trying to get to the grass on the other side and ended up pulling the wire apart. But it's fixed now, and hopefully she don't get back out. But
She didn't go nowhere.
no, she didn't go anywhere. She done fine. But anyways, I think that's a quick tutorial of what we're planning on doing this spring. And both of us are pretty darn excited about it.
Yeah, hopefully it'll make it easier on all of us, and it made for some long days being away from home, you know, and it's just easier with everything here because just like with the kids, I can just walk in the house and fix them some lunch. We ain't got to load back up, come back home, eat lunch, cool off for a minute, and then go back somewhere. You know, we'll be right here. So I hope this video has encouraged you today to get out there, start planting your gardens, and
I know one thing.
grow your own food. What?
Plant gardens in the most unobvious spots. Just to call, if you've got grass, like I heard somebody else say one time, if you've got grass, you've got a place to plant a garden. Just like what we're going to be doing up there around our yard. Use your yard space for your garden. It's less maintenance. You don't have to get out there and mow it all the time. You can be out there pulling a weed here and there. At least you're getting something you can eat out of it. So, and any of your beds around the house. You know, I know most people have landscape flower beds or something around their house. Shoot, pull those bushes up and plant you something in there that you can eat.
Just like those fig trees. I mean, they're pretty, and you get lots of figs off of them.
Exactly.
I'm going this way. I forgot I was going to get the eggs.
Oh.
So y'all get out there and figure out where you can plant some stuff. It's your first year. Even if you plant one tomato plant and you start getting tomatoes off of it, you didn't have to depend on nobody but yourself for those tomatoes. So just think about it that way. And anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a little something. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And also leave me a comment. I love hearing from y'all. And I'm going to get my eggs up, and I'll talk to y'all next time.